As you were at the top of the table over in League One, of course, with Portsmouth and Oxford United still in the automatic spots. But, of course, it's getting a little bit tight and twisty in the old playoff. Of course, we'll take a look at all of it next. That's right, folks. Barnsley giving a prediction video today. We'll take a look at match number 12, of course, in League One, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button, bang, and say all things League One related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We got all here, boys. And one Rooski. That's right. Portsmouth could be on their way back to the Championship, of course, but it is a long old season. But of course, they're in their prime spot right here, right now, and of course, right here. Unbeaten, yet to taste defeat, of course, but will that happen this weekend? We'll take a look at all of it in a second, of course. If you're new again, make sure you subscribe. And a big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course, and I want to remind you, for the upteenth time already, subscribe. A whopping 78% of the viewers of this channel are not subscribed. We want to get that number down at least closer to 50%. So do us all a favour and hit the old subscribe button, guys and gals, of course. But anyway, let's get into it. It's never ending for League One right now. Double match week, of course, and it doesn't stop in the international week. Or does it? I'm not too sure. Anyway, these are my picks. Of course, I don't think I did well. We start with Blackpool. I went with the win for Blackpool. Unfortunately, it was a big 3-1 win for Derby. Bolton with a 2-0 win. That was my pick. 3-2 win for them. It was. Bristol Rovers with a 3-0 win over Port Vale. I went with a 1-0. Burton Albion picked up a win over Wigan. I went the other way. Went with a draw between Cambridge and Barnsley, but Barnsley stonked them. 4-0 win on the road. Peterborough could muster a point against Carlisle. I went with a 1-0 win myself. Charlton with a 4-1 win over Exeter. 2-1 win in my eyes. Fleetwood 2-0 win for them over Cheltenham with a 0-0 draw. The Leyton Orient versus Lincoln game was abandoned. I think there might have been a tragedy on the field there. I'm not too sure. I've not read into it. But the game did not finish. Of course, so, but we'll move on. Northampton Town against Reading, 3-1 win it was for Northampton. Big win that was for Northampton over Reading, of course. And Oxford United, 3-0 win over Shrewsbury. I went with the 2-0. I'm pumping with the 2-1 win over Wycombe. I went with the 3-1 win. So let's count up my numbers here. We've got 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. I've got 5. I've got 5 out of 11. It's not great. It's not great, of course. It has been a rough old badgery week for me. I'm up there, though. To the 6th spot, I would have been. Reese up there with 7, alongside Eamon Hussein. Blue Jack Plays and Swindon Arby. Of course, those guys really stepping up the plate. And of course, Blue Jack Plays, I think, is still top dog here, right now. There he is, 44 points. Swindon Arby right on his heels, though. Ultra Murat also in the mixer. Eamon Hussein just outside the old trapdoor of the medals. But anyway, this is the table right here, right now. Portsmouth are remaining to the top of the table, yet to taste defeat. Oxford, of course, are in 20 with 24 points and second. Let me just give you a clarification here, because it says Wigan are in 17th. They're actually in 23rd right now. So just let's bear that in mind. They're in 23rd. And also Reading, with their points deduction, are actually in 22nd. So it's a little bit of a jiggity-boggity, of course, if you know what I mean. So this is the actual table without points deduction into it. So right now, in the relegation spots are Cheltenham, Wigan, Reading, Fleetwood. So Shrewsbury doing all right. Carlisle doing all right. Burton are doing all right. So yeah, that could all change though very, very soon. These are the links for the prediction league. If you want to get involved, it's free to enter, of course. And these are the next games because they don't rest the League One. They just keep on trucking. So here we go with, of course, the first one is Bolton up against Carlisle. Let's get into this one then, shall we? Now these two sides have played each other 4 times in 2013. We got 1 for Bolton, 2 for Carlisle. We got 1 draw, of course. Biggest win for Bolton was the only win, a 1-0 win, scoring 5 goals in the 4 matches, 1.25 goals a game. Carlisle on the flip side, 3-1 win, their biggest, 7 goals scored in the 4 matches, 1.75 goals a game. Carlisle without a win in 6 now. They're 20 for the table with 8 points on the board. Looking grim times. Up against 75% form Bolton, of course. 3 wins on the bounce. Just 1 defeat past 6, 3rd in the table, and 20 points on the board right now. Last time around, though, in Bolton, in the league, it was a 1-0 win for Bolton back in April 2021. But the odds for this one, we have Bolton coming at you 2-1 on for the victory. 50-4 is the draw. 90-4 is your away win. Bolton could be cruising back to the championship here with a 3-1 win. I don't think they can break into the top 2. I think there's a bit of a gap already, but of course they can maintain their playoff hope here, and of course close the gap to the top two as well with that big 3-1 win. So going with that one. Meanwhile, Burton up against, we got Cambridge United. Of course, that's actually on Monday, October the 9th. A bit of a strange day, but of course, we'll go for it. Played the 17 times in 2005. We've got 6 wins for Burton, 7 wins for Cambridge, and we've got 4 draws, of course. Biggest win for Burton, 3-1 win, scoring 27 goals in 17 matches, 1.59 goals a match. Cambridge, on the flip side, their biggest win was a 3-0 win. They've scored 31 goals in 17 matches, 1.82 goals a match as well. Cambridge, without a win in 5 now, they've dropped all the way down to 15th with 14 points on the board, and of course, 33% form for them. Burton are on the flip, right? They're on the up, 18th at the table with 10 points on the board, unbeaten in the last 5. 67% form for them heading into this as well. Last round at the Pirelli, it was a 1-0 win for Burton. That was back in May 2023. And the odds here, we have 7-5 is your Burton, 50-8 is your Cambridge, and 12-5 is the draw here. We're going to go with a 1-0 win for Burton, 3 points in the bag, and on the table they go. Charlton Athletic up against Blackpool, of course, coming out at the Valley. That's right. Now these two sides have played each other 16 times since 2008. We've got 6 wins for Charlton, 5 wins for Blackpool, and we've got 5 draws. Of course, biggest win for Charlton was a 3-0 win, scored 24 goals in those 16 matches, 1.50 goals a match. Blackpool on the flip side, their biggest win, 3-0 win, scoring 20 goals in 16 matches, 1.25 goals a match as well. Blackpool winning 4 of the last 6, 67% form for them. They have 15 points, 30th in the table. Up against Charlton, of course, 1 defeat in the last 6, 67% form, also 14th in the table with 14 points on the board right now. Last time around at the Valley, it was a 3-0 win for Blackpool. That was back in February 2021. And of course, the odds for this, we have Charlton 11-8, but they're actually 15-8 is your Blackpool. 5-2 is the draw here. Charlton are looking deadly at the minute, 2-0 win for them, 3 points in the bag, and they might even leapfrog the Tangerines in the process. Meanwhile, Cheltenham, who haven't scored a goal all season, up against Derby, of course, who are climbing the table slowly but surely. Played each other twice since 2023, 2 wins out of 2 for Derby, nothing for Cheltenham, of course. They have scored 2 goals against Derby, which equals a goal a match. So every time they have played them, they have scored a goal. Meanwhile, Derby, there's a biggest win over Cheltenham, was a 2-0 win. They've scored 5 goals in the 2 matches, 2.50 goals a match. Derby, unbeaten in the last 5, 67% form for them. Of course, winning 3 out of the last 4, 7th in the table, 17 points on the board. Cheltenham with just the 1 point so far, 24 for the table, 6 wins on the 6 losses. Makes 0% form, but they haven't won in the last 15 games. It's a credible stat. Last time played over at Cheltenham was a 3-2 win for Derby. Of course, it was a close game way back when. That was back in January 2023. But the odds for this one, we have Cheltenham 6-1 for the victory, 2-1 is your Derby, 3-1 is the draw. We're going to go with another goalless affair here. 2-0 win for Derby, 3 points in the bag, and Cheltenham really don't know what's going to go on with them. Meanwhile, Exeter City up against Barnsley, of course, coming at you this coming weekend. Played each other twice since 2022, 2 wins out of 2 for Exeter, nothing for Barnsley, no draws, of course. Biggest win for Exeter was a 3-1 win, scoring 5 goals in those 2 matches, works out 2.50 goals a match. Barnsley on the flip side, just the 1 goal scored in those 2 matches, 0.50 goals a game. 4 wins of the last 6 though for Barnsley, of course, have them cooking. 4th in the table, 19 points on the board right now, 67% form for them. Up against Exeter, just the 1 win in 5, they're down to 10th, 16 points on the board right now. And last time I played in Exeter was a 3-1 win for Exeter back in March 2023. The odds, 31-20 is your Exeter, 5-2 is your draw, 13-8 is your away win here. We're going with a 2-1 win for Barnsley. They're cooking, they're bubbling. Exeter hitting a bit of a rough patch at the minute. Meanwhile, Stevenage up against Wigan Athletic, of course, coming at you in Stevenage, and that's of course coming out on Saturday as well. Played each other as never. This will be the first time in record that I know anyway that these two sides have played each other. Stevenage, of course, just 1 win in 6 games right now, 33% form for them. They're in 5th, taking a bit of a tumble. They need a result to get them back kicking and a dancing. Meanwhile, Wigan are down to 23rd in the table, 5 points on the board, 3 defeats on the spin, 33% form for them right now as well. Last time around, of course, Stevenage with a 3-2 loss to Bolton, and Wigan with a 2-1 loss to Burton. Both sides looking for a win and fast. 10-7 on is your Stevenage. They are favoured here. The 11-4 is drawn, 15-4 is your away win. 2-1 win for me for Stevenage on this one. Bounce back, Wigan continue to struggle. Next up, we're Fleetwood Town against Wigan Athletic over at Fleetwood. Now, these two sides have played each other 15 times since 2011. We've got 3 wins for Fleetwood, 6 wins for Wigan, and we've got 6 draws, of course. Biggest win for Fleetwood, 2-0 win, scored 14 goals in the 15 matches, 0.93 goals a game. Wycombe on the flip side, 4-1 win, scoring 19 goals in the 15 games, 1.27 goals a game, of course. Wycombe winning 4 of the last 6, 67% form for them, of course, 9th at the table with 16 points on the board. Up against Fleetwood, who are on a bit of a bounce here under Lee Johnson, just the 1 defeat in the past 5, 21st in the table, 8 points on the board right now. And last around at Fleetwood, it was a 1-1 draw back in September 2022. Wycombe unbeaten though over the last 6 against Fleetwood. Winning 3 and drawing 3. The odds here, of course, for this one, we have Fleetwood 64 for the victory, 7-4 is your Wycombe, 12-5 is your draw. We're going with a 1-0 win for Fleetwood. They're on the remove here. Lee Johnson with a new manager has given them that extra bounce, of course. Leyton Orient up against Reading, of course. Will this game go ahead? We'll see about that. Play to the never. These two sides will be the first time, again, according to my data, that these two sides are locking horns. Leyton Orient, 58% form for them right now, just one defeat in the last 5, 17th for the table with 11 points on the board. Reading are down 22nd right now with 6 points on the board without a win in 3, 42% form for them, of course. Reading did lose to Northampton Town, of course, and Leyton Orient did lose to Fleetwood back on the 30th of September. That was the last completed game. But the odds for this one, 6-5 is your Orient and 13-5 is your draw. 21-10 is your away win. We are going with an Orient victory, a 2-0 win for them. Reading hitting the skids, and there could be sacking on the order here. Oxford United up against Bristol Rovers, of course, coming at you. The early kickoff in League One this weekend. Played each other 31 times since 2002. We've got 11 wins for Oxford, we've got 13 wins for Bristol Rovers, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Biggest win for Oxford was 6-1 wins, scoring 40 goals in those 31 matches, 1.29 goals a game. Bristol Rovers on the flip side, 3-0 win, their biggest, 39 goals scored in 31 games, 1.26 goals a game. 67% form from Bristol Rovers, 4 wins the last 6, they're 12th with 15 points on the board. Up against Oxford, 5 wins the last 6 by Manning's boys, second at the table with 24 points right now. Of course, last time around at the Kazam was a 3-0 win for Joey Barton's boys, of course, as February 2023. Bristol Rovers winning 3 on the bounce, unbeaten the last 4, stretching all the way back to 2021. But the odds for this one, we have Oxford 65 on for the victory, 14-5 is draw, 3-1 is your away win. It could go either way. Going to go with a 2-0 win though. Oxford at home at the Kazam, and then we have Peterborough up against Lincoln City. Lincoln City played each other, according to my eyes, 13 times. Since 2005, we've got 5 wins for Peterborough, 4 for Lincoln. And we've got 4 draws, of course. Biggest win for Lincoln was a 4-0 win. A 4-2 win, scoring 16 goals in those 13 matches, 1.23 goals a game. Of course, just the 1 win in 6 for Lincoln. Up against Peterborough, just the 1 defeat. The last 6 for them, 58% form for them, of course. But their biggest win over Lincoln was a 4-0 win, scoring 25 goals in 13 matches, 1.92 goals a match. 6th in the table, 18 points on the board. And last time around at Peterborough was a 4-0 win for Peterborough, who did the double over Lincoln last time around, scoring 7 without return. They're unbeaten against them over the last 4, stretching all the way back to 2021. Of course, the odds here, 10-7 on is your Peterborough. Of course, 3-1 is the draw, and we've got 4-1 is your Lincoln on this one. 3-1 win for Peterborough here at home, taking the points, and of course, maybe moving up the table. They go. Pompey, of course, your leaders up against Port Vale, of course, who hit a bit of a bubble at the minute. So, of course, played each other 14 times in 1994. We've got 6 wins of Pompey, 5 for Port Vale, 3 draws, of course. Biggest win for Portsmouth, 4-0 win. They scored 19 goals in the 14 matches, 1.36 goals a game. Port Vale, their biggest win, 2-0 win, scoring 13 goals in those 14 matches, 0.93 goals a game. Back-to-back defeats of Port Vale right now, 42% form for them over the last 6, just the 1 win in 5. 8th in the table with 17 points on the board. Up against Pompey, unbeaten in the last 6 at least. Top of the table, 92% form for them, and winning 4 on the bloody bounce. Last time around at Fratton Park was a 2-2 draw. That was back in March 2023. But the odds here, 6-4 on is your Pompey, 3-1 is the draw, 4-1 is your long shots here. Of course, Port Vale going to go with the host here, 2-1 win for them, 3 points in the bag. Shrewsbury up against Northampton Town. I think this completes the set here, and we got to, of course, play each other 18 times since 2004. We got 6 wins for Shrewsbury, 7 wins for Northampton, 5 draws, of course. Biggest win for the Shrews, 7-2 win, scoring 28 goals in those 18 matches, 1.56 goals a match. Up against Northampton, their biggest win, 4-2 win, scoring 24 goals in those 18 matches, of course, 1.33 goals a match. Back-to-back wins for Northampton, 16th at the table with 13 points on the board. Up against the Shrews, just the 1 win in 6, 19th at the table with 10 points on the board. Last time around at Shrewsbury, it was a 2-1 win for Northampton, who have done the double over Shrewsbury last time around. That's back in the 2020-2021 season. But the odds for this one, we have Shrewsbury 13-8 for the victory, 23-10 is the draw, 13-8 is your way with. The bookies think it's going to be tight, airtight. I also think it's going to be tight, airtight with a 1-1 draw. That's right, point split right down the middle, of course. That's my picks. There they are in all their glory. And, of course, make sure you get your own picks as well using Cutley Force League 1. And, of course, if I'm right, this is what the table will look like, kind of. With Pompey at the top of the table, with Oxford still behind them, and that gap still being 4 points with Bolton, Barnsley, Stevenage, and Peterborough in the playoffs. Don't rule out Derby, or maybe even a late push or an early little push there by Charlton Athletic, of course. Going down, Cheltenham, Carlisle, Reading, Shrewsbury, probably not. You got Wigan and Reading in that mixture, of course. But anyway, that's about that. And don't forget to subscribe. A whopping 78% of the channel that view this content have not subscribed. Do us all a favour, hit that subscribe button. Let's get them numbers down towards 50, and of course improve the efficiency of the channel to get content like this, not just this, but other stuff like this to you. It's helping you out as well because you like predictions. You're here for this content, so Let's make sure you get more of this content, whether it's from me, whether it's from other predictors out there, or other people that cover League One content. So do us all a favour, smash your thing. It's all something. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm out of here. Subscribe.